Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode on Stretch Street Podcast. This is the energetic EJ. And I know you would have noticed, once in a while, I come here solo and I just share from my personal experience. So consider those personal experiences my pockets of stretch stories. And of course, I am going to share with you some of the lessons I've learned either from my own personal stories as I share my point of view, or I'll share from what I found out looking for solutions for myself. All right. So welcome. This is one of such episodes and I'm super delighted to have you here today. Let's talk about loneliness. What causes it and how do we deal with loneliness?
No matter how dark the night is, the sun always rises. No matter how hard life gets, keep moving forward. You never know what amazing things are waiting just around the corner. No story is too rough and no journey is too tough. Join us on Stretch Street to be inspired by the stories of people who have been through it all and come out stronger. Stretch Street Podcast. Stretching without snapping.
Yes, welcome to Stretch Street Podcast. This is the energetic EJ. So you see, many of us have experienced loneliness at some point in our lives, and it can be a very difficult emotion to deal with. But by understanding where it originates and finding healthy ways to cope, we can work towards feeling more connected and fulfilled. So let us take a deep dive into the subject matter of loneliness. What is loneliness? Loneliness is a subjective experience, meaning it can mean different things to different people, or let me say we experience it differently, right? But generally speaking, it is defined as the feeling of being disconnected from others, okay? And this disconnection or this feeling of disconnect can occur even when we are physically surrounded by people. I don't know if this has happened to you before. Like you are in the midst of people. You're probably even in a party, but you feel like you are alone. You're feeling very disconnected. Yes, that is loneliness, okay? Or when you are isolated, that is when you are alone, okay? And honestly speaking, I've been alone in recent times. Like there are times I'll be on my own for 3 days straight, 4 days straight. And don't get me wrong, not all the time. When I'm alone like that, I feel lonely. Sometimes I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And the thought of having somebody else in the same space with me sometimes just makes me feel anxious. Oh my God, I'm going to lose this sanity. I'm going to lose this serenity. That's the word. This calmness that I'm feeling being all alone by myself, right? But yes, loneliness can manifest in different ways, such as feeling sad or empty, longing for companionship, or feeling socially disconnected. And I've been feeling that longing for companionship really in recent times, right? So I decided to go in search, just search. I tried other things, most times when I feel that loneliness, I feel like I really need to talk to someone. I just want to be around somebody. And if it's impossible, what I do really, honestly, don't tell anybody this, I'm just being vulnerable here, is I just talk to God, honestly. And this is not cliche. This is not me trying to be pious or anything, but this is what has worked for me so far. I just talk. And so it has kind of formed how I pray. Prayer for me now is communicating, and that communication that I tend to get involved in, especially when I'm feeling like I really need companionship and no human is around me at the time, right? So I just talk to God and I just kind of explain how I'm feeling to Him. And yeah, sometimes it ends up me reading the Bible. Sometimes it ends up me having to maybe watch a message on YouTube, or sometimes it ends up having me listen to worship songs and just turn it into a worship session, right? But yeah, those are some of the things that have worked. But then sometimes I just don't feel like talking to God. I want human being companionship. right? And so I had to just search like, okay, are there other things that maybe I'm missing out that I can do? And so that's what I want to share with you today, right? So I'm going to share with you, some of those things that I found. So loneliness can be caused by a variety of factors, such as life transitions, like moving to a new city or losing a loved one, right? So if I look at that, I think I kind of fall into that category. Yeah. Another cause or factor that can cause loneliness is social isolation. This can be a result of physical or mental health issues. And this one is nothing to be, to be ashamed of, right? Again, since 2020, a lot has happened. A lot of people are still dealing with the effect of being isolated for so long during COVID, especially for those of us who were not with our families at those times. So it could be a cause of loneliness. And I'm going to talk about some of the things to do to deal with it later on. So another factor that can cause loneliness is technology. Yes. Of course, we can connect. Like technology can connect us, but at the same time, it can isolate us. Look at some people who are gamers, for example. Like once they are in that game, they lost track of time. They lost track of everything going on around them. They really don't care about the physical, right? And guess what? It's even worse with metaverse now, with virtual reality, where you feel more alive, you feel more connected to the virtual space, to the virtual world, to the metaverse. And here, when you come back to reality, you're like, what's going on? I don't even have friends anymore, right? And so sometimes when you're disconnected from tech, then you actually see how lonely you are, or you then feel it, or that feeling, just overwhelms you. Okay. So that's another factor that can cause loneliness. And lastly, that I'll be sharing with you today is number 4, is some people may just be more prone to loneliness due to their personality traits or their life experiences, right? So personality traits being maybe they're introverts, so they really like to be alone. And so they have succeeded in pushing others away from them because they always want to be alone, right? And so every attempt from other people to be close to them has failed. And so people just naturally withdraw from them. And so that leaves them always finding themselves alone, right? And for some, it could just be work. So they're natural introverts, but then the kind of work that they do again warrants them to always work in isolation, or maybe they work virtually, right? Remotely. So their team is not always around in the physical. So they are mostly at home, working from their laptop, connected to the rest of the world, but most of the time, like 90% of the time, they are always alone. And so sometimes that feeling just really envelopes them or overwhelms them. And then, that's another thing or factor that can cause loneliness. So when I found this, when I discovered that these reasons that I have highlighted are things that could cause loneliness, I could relate because I myself just made some life transitions. I also lost some loved ones, and that could just be part of why I feel the way I feel sometimes. So I don't know about you. What about you? Which of the aforementioned factors might be contributing to your loneliness? I'd love to hear from you. So feel free to send me an email at stretchstreetpod@gmail.com, stretchstreetpod@gmail.com, or you can reach me on social media, right? You can just search for Energetic EJ across platforms, wherever works for you. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, search for Energetic EJ and let's talk about it. All right. Here's a quick message before we continue in the conversation. I opened up my membership to Profiting Podcasters Hub, a hub where I bring podcasters together to support and mentor them, especially beginner podcaster, right, on their journey. And for just $10 a month, you get access to helpful resources and a community of fellow podcasters to help ease your podcast journey. So if you want to be a part of that, visit nas.io/pphm, or just check out the link in the description of this episode. Now, let's look at some ways to deal with loneliness. I'll share 4 ways to deal with loneliness. Number 1, build meaningful connections. This can involve reaching out to others, whether to old friends or you want to make new friends. Just reach out to people. Then also join clubs, book clubs, instrument clubs if you play an instrument, interest-based clubs, right? Just join clubs or organizations, or you can even go further and volunteer for some organizations, because that in volunteering for organizations, you get to meet with people, right? So you get to connect and build meaningful connections with those people that you're meeting through the clubs, the organizations, the volunteering, all right? Number 2, practice self-care. Taking care of your physical and mental health can improve your overall well-being and makes it easier to connect with others. Like if you can connect with yourself, it's easy for you to connect with other people, right? And so this can include things like getting enough sleep. Yeah, I need to work on that one. Eating a healthy diet. Yes, that is self-care. That is caring for your body, your mind, and your spirit. Well, your spirit, prayers, the word, and, other spiritual activities, fasting and things like that. Then engaging in activities that you enjoy. For me, it's sports. Like, I really enjoy my workout session. I really enjoy dancing. I really enjoy singing. So anytime that I have to do those 3 things, oh gosh, like honestly, even when I'm feeling down, like, okay, I'm just feeling low on energy, I just play a song that has that is high beat, or, honestly, I can't even stay still when I hear music, right? So when I play a song that I like, it is 100% sure that it would lift my spirit in that moment, right? So I do that. So it's just me doing more of that when I'm feeling this way. All right. Number 3 is seek professional help. So if loneliness is linked to mental health issues for you, like depression or anxiety or any of all those, mental illness, it may be helpful to seek professional support from a therapist, a counselor, or a coach, right? Never be ashamed or embarrassed to get help when you need it, especially when it comes to mental health issues. You are not alone. It is not just you, and nothing is wrong. It's just like you're just dealing with something as of now. It's like having a headache, right? It's like having a headache. Do you feel shy to tell anybody like you have a headache so that, they can get you Panadol or paracetamol or see a doctor? In the same way, if you think your mental health is tampered with, depression, anxiety, you can't sleep, insomnia, all of those things, it is okay to seek for help. All right. So seek professional help and don't do it yourself. Don't do DIY when it comes to your health. Okay. Seek professional help. Number 4 that I'm sharing with you today, which is the final one, is find meaning and purpose. Pursuing activities or causes that align with your value can give you a sense of purpose and connection to something larger than you. So look for a cause. There are too many out there, and if you cannot resonate with anyone out there, then you start one, right? What is that thing that agitates you? What is that thing that upsets you? What is that thing that happens in the society that when you think about it, it gives you, like, it makes your tummy rumble. It makes you feel like, oh my God, how can you do that, right? That is something that agitates you. That could be a thing that you are wired to prefer a solution to, or at least to create awareness about, right? So you want to dedicate yourself to something of such, and then that would give you a purpose that will add some meaning to your life, and you're able to focus on that, and that feeling of loneliness would die. So for example, for me, it's my desire and my passion and commitment to helping people use their voices for impact, influence, and income. It could be all 3, it could be 1, it could be 2, right? So if you want to make an impact, it means that you have to come out of your shell. You have to live your life and be able to draw out lessons and thoughts from life yourself and be able to use that as a way of helping others through maybe similar situations that you've been through, that you've been able to go out of. You can use your voice by sharing such a story so that other people can learn from your experience. If you want to create influence, it's you probably talking about the area that is your expertise. So maybe you are an expert in, let's say, writing, right? So you want to talk about writing. You want to train about writing. You want to provide solution about writing to a set of people. And as you do that, you form a community of people that listen to you. And honestly, when you do that, you are impacting their lives one way or the other. You are influencing their decisions one way or the other. And so when you package all of that and you put a price on it, right, then you begin to earn an income from it. And so what I am here to do is to help you see that you have a voice and your voice is meant for impact, right? I know, I just switched into teaching mode right there. Please forgive me. I know exactly what I'm doing, but please forgive me. I just had to buttress my point. Don't deny me of listening to this episode. Please forgive me, but I know exactly what I'm doing. Oh my God. I know you love me. I love you too. All right. Yeah. So those are the things, 4 things or 4 ways that we can deal with loneliness. Build meaningful connections, practice self-care, seek professional help if your loneliness is spanning from mental health issues, then find meaning and purpose by submitting or committing to a cause. Tell me which of these ways resonates more with you, and if you are going to apply them, let me know. And I really do hope that you've got value from today's episode. Thank you for joining me for this episode on Stretch Street Podcast and listening to my stretch story on loneliness. I hope that you gained some insight into what loneliness is, what causes it, and how to deal with it. Remember that you are not alone in feeling lonely, and there are resources available to help you work through this challenging emotion. Tune in next time for more stretch stories. Just a reminder again, I have opened up my membership to Profiting Podcasters Hub, a hub where I bring podcasters together to support and mentor them on their journey. And for just $10 a month, you get access to helpful resources and a community of fellow podcasters to help ease your podcast journey. So check the link in the description to sign up today or visit nas.io/PPHM to join us. I can't wait to be a part of your life. Till I come your way again next week, this is the energetic EJ signing out on the Stretch Street Podcast.